Greetings, St. John's Seminary family. It's an honor and pleasure to be with y'all virtually to give you a little message. My name is Dr. Ansel Augustine, Executive Director of Cultural Diversity and Outreach for the Archdiocese of Washington. Uh, I've been here less than a year, moved up here when the pandemic started, originally from New Orleans, Louisiana, my hometown. But it's a pleasure to be invited to share with you about our work and our mission as Catholic lay people in the church, helping to do the work God has put in our hearts to do. So please know it is a blessing once again to just share a little bit of my story and a little bit of inspiration for y'all in these next couple of minutes. Hopefully, you understand we as Catholic laity are important to the church. Your presence is important for the work of the church to help and assist those that are ordained, those that are religious, those that are doing work in various ministries because we can't do it all, they can't do it all. But for us to be those true co workers in the vineyard, working together to make the world a better place for all. When we talk about the terms holy and being a saint, lowercase s, we have to remember, as we say in my church back home in New Orleans, who we are and whose we are as children of God. And our role is to help others remember that as well and realize that. In the document, USCCB document, Co-workers in the Vineyard of the Lord, it states, all baptized are called to work towards the transformation of the world. We are called to use our gifts to transform the world. But we are also, as you are doing in your education, transforming yourselves, your mind, your spirits, even your hearts, to be better servants of those that need it as you step out into the world, into our roles of ministry. So, how is it that you, as a layperson, and we as laity, are called to change the world? For me, it is being your authentic self, who God created you to be. As we are all made in His image and likeness, in His own unique way, He put His unique love and creativity into each and every one of us, whether it's by culture, whether it's by gender, whether it's by various other means of categories that we are. We are so unique, we are so diverse, and all of that is representative of God's love to be shared in the world in our unique ways. So, what does ministry look like today as a form of laity? Of course, this past year, in this pandemic period, we've seen ministry evolve and change in various ways. The needs of our community, the needs of our world have shifted in various ways. But I always use this when I teach, whether it's catechist, or whether it's my time at Xavier University of Louisiana, or even Loyola University of New Orleans. Whenever I'm teaching courses, especially to youth ministers or catechists, because my heart, no matter where I'm at, is with our youth and our young people, is to model that Jesus met people where they were at. He didn't come to fix, he didn't come to control, but he came to educate and help people realize his love and his power and his witness in them through their own experiences. So for us today, lay ministry may be virtual, just like I'm talking to y'all virtually right now. It may be via those phone calls, whatever it is. Lay ministry today is looking at meeting people where they're at, just as Christ did. And we're called to remember that why when we started. For me, my why are the young people in my neighborhood back home in New Orleans. And using that as my remembrance of whenever I'm in ministry, especially those tough days when I want to throw in the towel and be like, man, I want to give up and go do something else, is to remember that why. So I ask yourself today to ask yourself, why did you start? Why are you doing what it is you're doing? And to keep that in the forefront in your heart and in your mind so that you can always focus, no matter what comes your way, on what it is you feel you are uniquely called to do in this ministry world. And so when it looks like our role as co-workers, we are called to journey together, meaning co-workers, not solo workers, but co-workers, meaning we're used to connecting with one another around us, as we use the image of the cross, around us, but also more importantly, learning who we are and whose we are as connected to Christ himself. The popular words today are journey and accompaniment. So are we accompanying one another on this journey? And who's accompanying us? I've had to learn the hard way. I need my own spiritual direction. I'm not perfect. I need my own ways of continuing to grow. Even though I have the doctorate, that doesn't mean I'm done learning. And most of my learning comes from the people that I minister with and accompany. So doing that as a coworker with one another. But in and your preparation, as you are doing right now, I want to share this with you again. You are not an incident. You are not an accident. God has you where He has you right now in that program to better yourself so that you can help others better themselves as well. You know, where you're at is to use the gifts God has given you to help continue to transform the world, as the document has said, co workers in the vineyard of the Lord. And finally, I close with this is to remember it is not about you, but about what God does through you. Those are the words of my late father figure, our pastor at St. Peter Claver Church in New Orleans, Louisiana, Father Michael Jacques, used to tell me when he gave me my first job in ministry as youth minister of our parish. He used to say those things. Remember, it's not about you, but about what God does through you. So remember that as you take on leadership in your parish and in your community, remember we're doing God's work, not our work. So remember, as we humble ourselves and educate and prepare our minds and our hearts for doing God's work, remember that why that we're called to do it. But remember, we're doing His ministry. And so when we meet those challenging folks, when we're in those challenging times, to keep that into perspective. God is with us, and He is with you right now. So in a world today that's full of darkness, whether it's pandemic fear, whether it's racial unrest, whether it's poverty, whether it's even people divided by different ideologies even within our church, remember this. My challenge to you is to go out into this world of darkness and share your unique and authentic light and encourage others to do so as well. It is then, my brothers and sisters, that we will live out our mission and transform the world. No, I'm praying for you. I'm journeying with you in the Spirit, and do what you have to do to be who you are called to be, because that is what the world needs. Peace and God bless.